So let's get to Alabama and Arkansas, also a game to me that is must watch this weekend. Alabama is a perfect 15-0 against Arkansas since Nick Saban arrived in Tuscaloosa in 2007. That's the longest winning streak against an SEC opponent. It's tied for the third longest winning streak, because Vanderbilt and a couple others, but tied for the third longest winning streak against any SEC opponent in program history. Arkansas has lost 14 straight games against AP top 2 teams. They beat top-ranked LSU in triple overtime back in 2007. Remember, that LSU team went on to win the national championship with 2 losses, but Arkansas nearly spoiled their season there at the very end. Let's talk about Alabama's defense against Arkansas's offense. Alabama's been amazing this year on defense. They've allowed just 29 points, 19 of which came, of course, against Texas there, but it's the third fewest points allowed behind Iowa and Minnesota. So Alabama has played very well on the defensive side of the football. It's the 5th time since 1978 that Alabama has allowed fewer than 30 points in their first 4 games, and it won the national championship 3 of the previous 4 times. So, goes to show you, great defense has often led to championships for the Crimson Tide. They weren't really tested against Louisiana Monroe. They weren't really tested against Vanderbilt. Obviously weren't tested against Utah State, but Texas was pretty good when it came to throwing the ball down the field when Quinn Ewers was healthy in the first quarter of that football game. Xavier Worthy went off, and if that injury hadn't occurred, who knows how things would have unfolded for Alabama. This is a good litmus test to see whether or not that secondary has shored up some of the issues that they had in the early part of the season. And if you look at Arkansas does a great job when it comes to throwing the ball downfield. KJ Jefferson has actually been more effective throwing the ball downfield than Bryce Young. Among quarterbacks with at least 10 throws that have traveled more than 15 yards downfield, Jefferson has completed an SEC high 58% with 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Bryce Young was actually last in the SEC on throws that travel more than 15 yards leading into last week. He was 31% on those throws, but against Vanderbilt looked much more like himself. He was 4 for 8 on those throws against Vanderbilt. So maybe that deep ball passing attack for Alabama is starting to come into its own now as they move forward. But if Alabama's secondary hasn't been shored up, they're going to be going against quality wide receivers. I think Arkansas's got a solid group, and KJ Jefferson has proven to be able to take advantage of downfield passing attack in one-on-one situations. As far as Alabama's offense against Arkansas's defense, we know Jahmyr Gibbs is legit. He's one of 5 FBS players that has 150 rushing yards and 150 receiving yards. He, of course, has also scored 3 touchdowns already this year. This week, he's going to be going against an Arkansas defense that has allowed SEC highs in receptions and yards to running backs this year. So for whatever reason, Arkansas has not done a good job of covering running backs in the passing game. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get a big game statistically because of Arkansas's challenges there. We've not really identified a go-to dynamic wide receiver for Alabama. It feels like that moment is coming. Jermaine Burton's going to be sliding to the outside. He's going to live outside. Ja'Cory Brooks had a big game against Vanderbilt. Maybe he now is going to become kind of the alpha dog number 2 to Jermaine Burton's number 1. And then there in the third spot, Trayshawn Holden, probably going to be more of a possession guy, but still, I think at times, especially in the red zone, could emerge. So who's going to be the receiver that emerges at this point forward? Because we know Arkansas's pass defense has struggled this year. It's been documented. A&M couldn't do much with it last week. But if you look at what Missouri State did with Jason Shelley, you look at what South Carolina's Spencer Rattler did, and you look at what Cincinnati's Ben Bryant did, all 3 had big opportunities to push the ball downfield. I think Alabama wins the game, but this will be a really interesting challenge. Can they play better and play with more composure on the road this time around? Because they did not handle the elements very well when they went to Austin, Texas in week number 2.